19 July 1987, world welcomed Jon Bones Jones. Little did anyone know that newborn in Rochester, New York, would one day be hailed as one of the most unstoppable forces the UFC has ever seen. But here's the twist. His dominance, even the legendary Jon Jones, isn't invincible. What if I told you that his losses tell a deeper story than his victories? A story filled with unexpected twists, controversy, and a few cracks in his seemingly perfect armor. This is the story of Jon Jones' losses in the UFC, an intense journey through his career where the losses sting just as much as the victories roar. Before diving into the losses, we can't ignore the mountain of victories that Jon Jones has stacked up. He's widely regarded as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, if not the greatest. His dominance over the light heavyweight division is legendary, freakishly long reach, extraordinary fight IQ, and his ability to outclass opponents with ruthless precision. Jon Jones didn't just win fights, he destroyed world-class fighters. He made it look easy. Wait a minute. Destroyed? Really? Isn't that a bit too much? No! Not when it's Jon Jones we're talking about. But even with all this dominance, there's one thing no fighter can escape: defeat. And for Jon Jones, his losses are just as intriguing as his victories. But the question is, how does a man who seems unbeatable lose? Let's talk about that. In 2009, Jon Jones faced Matt Hamill at the Ultimate Fighter 10 finale. On paper, it looked like another win for Jon until it wasn't. Jones was dominating Hamill using brutal ground and pound elbows. But then something happened that would change the course of the fight. Jones threw illegal 12-6 elbows, which means elbows that move directly downward. It's considered dangerous by the UFC's rules. And just like that, Jon Jones was disqualified, giving Matt Hamill the win. This is still the only official loss on Jon Jones' record. Imagine that a fighter who was winning the fight, losing because of a technicality. Wait, losing by a rule violation? Is that even a real loss? Well, officially, yes. For Jon, this wasn't a defeat in skill, but in judgment. This moment wasn't about being outmatched, it was about a mistake. But still, that's how the history books will forever remember it. Jon Jones, defeated by Hamill in a fight he was clearly winning. But is this the only time Jones' career has been overshadowed by something other than his skill? Now, we need to talk about Jon Jones' losses that didn't come from punches, kicks, or takedowns. His biggest losses came outside the octagon. If you followed Jon Jones' career, you know it's been a roller coaster full of highs and dramatic lows. In 2015, Jon Jones was stripped of his title after being involved in a hit-and-run incident. His suspension left a massive gap in the light heavyweight division and was a blow to his legacy. This wasn't just a personal loss for Jon. It was a loss for the UFC, the fans, and his career momentum. And again, in 2017, after defeating Daniel Cormier in their highly anticipated rematch, Jones failed a drug test. The victory was overturned, and once again he lost his title. These moments weren't losses inside the cage, but they were just as impactful. They changed the narrative of Jones' career. Imagine winning the biggest fight of your life, and then losing it all the next day without even throwing a punch. It's in these moments we realize that Jones' toughest battles weren't always with opponents, but with himself. From 2017 to 2018, Jon Jones was suspended due to the USADA drug test failure. For over a year, the UFC world moved on without him. This wasn't just a loss of fights, it was a loss of time. Time he could never get back. Jones' absence left fans and the UFC world in a state of limbo. Would he ever return? Would we see the same Jon Jones again? The uncertainty was thick. Many believed that his career might be over for good, but Jon didn't stay down for long. When he returned, people weren't sure what to expect. Could he still dominate? Was the Bones era truly over? Jon Jones returned to the octagon in 2018 against Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 232. And just like that, he reclaimed his title in dominating fashion. But as usual with Jon, controversy wasn't far behind. Even though he won, some fans questioned if his performance was da clean. The lingering questions about his past drug tests and suspensions never fully went away. Isn't it strange how even in victory, the shadow of past mistakes can still follow? Jones might have regained his belt, but there was always an asterisk next to his wins in the eyes of some fans. Now, let's fast forward to February 2020 Jon Jones vs. Dominick Reyes. This was the fight where Jon Jones' invincibility seemed to crack. Officially, Jon Jones won the fight by decision. But if you watch that fight, let's be honest, many fans and analysts believe Reyes won. This wasn't a typical Jones fight. Reyes pressured him in ways we hadn't seen before. For 5 rounds, Reyes arguably outworked Jones, landing significant strikes and taking control of the octagon. But the judges saw it differently, giving the decision to Jones. However, the fans weren't convinced. Could this be the moment when Jon Jones' time at the top started to slip? Was this the unofficial loss that marked the end of his reign? And now, we're here. In 2023, Jon Jones is preparing for his long-awaited debut in the heavyweight division. The move has fans both excited and nervous. Moving up a weight class is a risky move for any fighter, but for Jon, it's monumental. The question on everyone's mind: can Jones dominate the heavyweight division the way he did in light heavyweight? Can the same guy who once ruled the light heavyweight division, his legacy is on the line? One wrong move, one bad fight, and the narrative could shift. Could this be where we see his first true loss inside the octagon? Or will Jones continue to defy the odds and cement himself as the greatest of all time across multiple divisions? Jon Jones' story is far from over. His losses, both official and unofficial, are part of what makes him one of the most fascinating fighters in UFC history. Whether he's disqualified for an illegal elbow, stripped of his title outside the cage, or narrowly escaping defeat by decision, each loss adds to the complexity of his legacy. But now, as he eyes the heavyweight crown, we're left on the edge of our seats. Will Jon Jones continue to defy expectations, or will his next chapter finally see the unbeatable man truly beaten? What do you think? Will Jon Jones conquer the heavyweight division, or will we witness the fall of a legend? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep goes into the world of MMA. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.